Hello and welcome to Dot Art's series of online CPD sessions for primary art, which supports visual artists and champions art as an integral part of everyday life. Since 2012, they have been running Dot Art schools online inter-school art competition, as well as offering artist-led workshops in schools across the Northwest. This series of films aims to introduce skills and processes brought to you by local artists. We aim to offer a selection of simple but brilliant ways to effectively engage your students through art in the classroom. These practical projects are adaptable to all ages and easy to replicate. You can access this video anytime, as well as download the session's notes to keep. My name is Faith Bevington and I'm a sculptor, and I have been working in and out of schools for the last 25 years. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate two basic techniques. One is how to make a person and the other one is how to make a flower. And I'm going to start off by making a person out of simple materials, newspaper and wire and tape. I have a person here, which is my superhero. I made this for my daughter when she was about 10 and she wanted articulated fingers. Now, I'm not going to do fingers because they are very hard. It's a project in itself to do hands and fingers, but it's good to show what the possibilities are. I was a superhero that can fly with a cape. Very simple, but I'm going to show you how to make the basic figure. Now, I've got another figure here which is a lot more sophisticated. It's got hands, it's got muscles in the right places, and this is the kind of work that a secondary age child might attempt. But this one is more primary, where it's very simple, the limbs are very simple, fat at the top, thin at the bottom. That's the basic principle: fat at the bottom, thin at the top, and that is the level that a primary school child can achieve. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do that now. So I'm going to use newspaper and wire to make a person. Now, my first always start off with two pieces of newspaper. Now, when I talk about the newspaper, I'm not talking about a broad sheet. I'm talking about a small newspaper. It's all based around this size newspaper. Okay, so I've got two sheets separated out. Very important that you separate them out. And then I'm going to put my wire in the top and scrunch. Okay, so now my first piece of tape goes around the middle. Scrunch, and then after that I'm going to put my tape on the side, and then another piece of tape next to it. I'm going to turn it round and roll. Now, it's really important that you roll it onto the table. It's the easiest way to do it, but it's also the best way to do it, so you don't get lumpy newspaper. So two pieces of tape, turn it round and roll. Again, and look at the size of my pieces of tape. This is a good size. If you do them too big, they just get ripped. And of course, you need two hands to put on a piece of tape. You have to hold the piece of tape taut. I was in school yesterday, and we were talking with the kids about being taught and what taught means. But most of the children have never heard of the word. It's always good to learn new words at the same time. So a little bit of tape. And there we have it. So fold it in half, bend it up, and then we have our legs. So that's our first section. Then we do one sheet of paper, one thinner piece of wire, and again scrunch it. Now this I normally do with two people in a section because you need to twist. And it's very good to do this with two people, but I'm on my own today, so we twist. If you twist it properly, it should just stay on the table without unravelling. And then with our tape, this time you only need one piece of tape. We've only got one newspaper, we roll on the table. Now don't worry about the ends, there's no wire in there, so we just knock those off. And then we have our arms, and laying out the person so you can see. So our next section is our body. I always ask the children what our next section might be, and they say all sorts of things, but this is the order I always do my person in. It gets the proportions right. So this time we have two pieces of paper, one way and one like across, and we hold underneath in the middle, so you've got a grip, and then we pull it in all our points into the middle. The shape that we're after is an oval. We talk about body shape quite often with the children, and most of us are oval. If you're a bodybuilder, we want a perfect triangle body torso is the word that we would use, but most of us are more like an oval, a flat pancake. So that's the shape we're after. Okay, and then we tape it up. We use tape like fabric's made, so it's like warp and weft. So you put one piece one way, another piece the other way, and build it up. Okay, so now we have our legs, our body, our arms, and then I ask the children what comes next, and they always say head, and of course it's your neck. Now our neck is a quarter of a sheet of newspaper, which you rip, you do not cut with scissors, scrunch, and get a piece of tape ready. So lie the tape down onto the table, and I've scrunched that newspaper up, and the shape that I'm after, and I always ask the children what shape our neck is, and they come up with all sorts, but it's obviously a cylinder, and we roll our tape into it, and then we just do the ends, so that's our neck. Now our head is the shape of what kind of thing that we eat. I have potato, I have grape, but it is an egg. And we talked about the programme Egghead, which is a quiz show programme. Quite a lot of people doing it. So then the idea with this is to squeeze your one sheet up into an egg shape, which is basically putting the tape on to hold the shape. I always think about the tape being like the skin and the newspaper being like the muscle in your blood inside you. So it's a matter of the tape squeezing it in. Okay, and then we have our egg. Okay, so we've got all our body parts, and now we can put them together. So I'll get our legs and our body. Tape ready. You see my tape is nearly always the same size, and that's really important to get that. Okay, and then we put our tape between our legs like a nappy, hold it up, get our body, swash it on, and then we put our legs down, like that down on your table. We have a piece of tape down one leg. We have another piece of tape down the other leg to the body, and then we have tape to tape the tape on around the body. Okay, and then I do, for the children, I do a pull-off test to see if they can pull the body and the legs apart, and it is literally impossible. So then I do that because then they realise how strong this tape really is. And then I say to them, if you come to me and say you've finished, and I go like this and your head falls off, it's because you've not taped it properly. And that happens quite regularly. So our next job is to put the arms on. Now we lay the body down and the legs, line it up, and get our tape over the top. And of course we need more than one piece of tape. We need another piece of tape over the shoulder, another piece of tape over the other shoulder, and then of course tape under the armpits to take the tape on. Give it a good squeeze, flatten it down. And then our neck. Now, on the neck it's very good to put the tape on our shape first, so we've got it anchored. I'm going to line that up to the body, turn it round, do the back. With the direction, look at the direction I put my tape, always long ways. And then I'm going to strangle it with a scarf. So that's 3 pieces of tape to put that neck on. Give it a really good squeeze. Of course, make sure it's in the middle. Okay, and then finally we put our head on. Now, I've got a piece of tape ready. Our head does not fit on our bodies like this. So you need to make sure that your head fits on sideways, as you can see. So to ensure that you do that, you get a piece of tape under the chin first, line it up, let it dangle down, so you lay that on your neck. So it's quite important with necks because that's a hard thing children find. Most children will not give a drawing a neck, and certainly not a sculpture, so it's quite an important point that you get across to them. You just go good squeeze with that tape, and of course a scarf, again, round to strangle. And they like strangling their work. Okay, and now finding our feet. Now, a quarter of a newspaper is quite good measurement for foot. Our feet are the same length as our face, so that's a good measure for knowing what size we need our feet to be. Some people have big heads, can have big feet. So I've made them the same in both hands, so I know that they're going to be the same size. And again, like we did with the neck, you put the tape on the shape first, line it up, and again one piece of tape in every knot. Give it a really good squeeze. Tape on the shape. And then we pull our arms down, check that we've got the right length. Now, these arms are a little bit short. So sometimes they're too long, sometimes they're too short. But we can always go back and sort that out with just a little bit of newspaper. 2 more quarters. Remember to put your tape on your shape first. I'm just going to add a little bit extra on those arms. Because where do our arms fit down to our body? They should be hitting our thighs. Tape always long ways, never round and round, it's always long ways. And there we have our very basic person.